wouldn't have thought that this album is more pop. I think it's just a more mature album. I would think it's probably sometimes more rocky even than the others.
Creativity-wise, I would say I think we'd all agree that it's our best, and we're very, very proud of this. And I think that there's something in it for everyone.
Going crazy, middle of the night. The way the album began was basically, you know, John, our manager, went into the studio and started trying to get stuff that we'd previously worked on tidied up and getting that together. And then myself and Colin wrote a song one night, so we said, oh, well, we'll go in and record that. So then it just we ended up producing it along with our guitarist and the guys in the studio, our engineer and our programmer, and all of us together, and our manager. So it just kind of came about chaotically, and then we kind of found we were onto something. I mean, there was great magic in the studio because it was Ireland as well as that, because there was a great vibe between all of us. There was no extra pressure.
We kind of just, I mean, Sharon writes on her own most of the time now, and she has written with Jim as well. I generally write with Andrea, and Andrea writes with Jim, so we kind of mix it around a bit. But I mean, some of us write in our houses, and we'll come into the studio the next day and just literally put the track down and see what happens with it.
Recording in Dublin was fantastic. We were dedicated, absolutely dedicated. We were able to party, have fun at the weekends, but I think, you know, you have to do both, I think, in order to create a good album. You know, your inspiration has to come from being able to socialise as well. Otherwise, you've no sense of the outside world.
I think essentially we're homebirds at heart, and there's something great about going into the studio and when you're finished that night to be able to go home and sleep in your own bed, you know. There's something wonderful about that. And there was less pressure in a sense. You know, we love Ireland, so we're very lucky to be able to do it there this time.
You're irresistible.
Well, we had always been very, very big fans of Mutt Lange's productions, and we got the opportunity to meet with him in London for a party in the park last year when Shania Twain, his wife, was performing, and we just got talking about songwriting, and we got together and started to write, first of all in Switzerland and then back in Dublin, and we managed to write 3 tracks with him, which turned out, we think, very, very well, and one of which is going to be the first single, Breathless.
He brought 3 tracks to the recording with Andrea. He co-wrote with Andrea, and I mean, it's always amazing to work with a new producer because they are so different, and there are no rules for production, I think, at all. He is particularly particular about vocals, and he likes to have those completely perfect, so you do them again and again and again. But he's a lovely guy. He's a very I think he's a very spiritual guy, and he talks a lot, and he likes talking to people. He likes getting on with people. He likes getting to know people and understand what makes them tick. So as a guy, he's a really, really sweet guy, and he was great to work with. To go out and to write a song with him was kind of daunting. I mean, you're on a plane and you're going there and you wonder, how's it going to happen? And, you know, something I always feel, I always have this worry thing about writing, because it's not something that I know how to do in a way, as in, there's no method in it, it's not a labour, it's not a plan. It's purely on inspiration. So every time I write a song, I'm thrilled it's happened again. But before I go to write a song, I'd be very scared that it's not going to happen. What am I going to do? You know, because I don't know. So I have all these thoughts on the plane anyway going to meet him, but he completely alleviated everything. He's a lovely, lovely guy and extremely talented and musical. And basically we just, when I got in, we just sat and he played the guitar and we wrote Breathless first. Go on, leave me breathless. Shooting the video Breathless was very interesting, yeah. We shot it in the Mojave Desert, It's outside Los Angeles. Actually, it's near the Joshua Tree, which I think is good. And it was stiflingly hot, of course. It's the desert, you know, and so it was a 2-day shoot, and a very big shoot. The kind of theme was Mad Max, and Jim's flying a plane, and we're flying in a plane to do our gig and set up our gig, and then we've got like guys in Harley Davidsons like watching our gig. Our typical audience, of course.
That was great fun. It was an old DC-3. It was built in 1939, I think it was. A Dakota, it was called. And it was an amazing plane. It's one of these that sits at an angle on the runway like that. And that was great fun. I had to pretend, obviously, at the controls. I had to pretend to be flying the plane, sticking my head out and checking that the propeller was turning properly. But we did actually get to go up in it. We were up for about a half an hour, just flying around the desert. Good fun.
And anyway, so it's going well and all, but the heat's pretty unbearable. And the second day of the shoot, both myself and Sharon could no longer take it, and almost collapsed. I think it was a kind of an accumulation of jet lag, being up at